What is up, everybody? It is a super sunny, warm, hot day here in Florida. Temperature says 91. It also says it feels like 99. So let's call it an even 100 today. But we are out here to talk about Gate 8, the change maker, holding it together, and contributions. The astrology of this gate is Taurus. The tarot, or in tarot, this is the Four of Cups. And in the I Ching, it is holding together or uniting. And the energy of this week is all about joy, being joyful as in the individual, right? Celebrating yourself, celebrating your perspectives, celebrating your creativity. And it's also mutative. Creativity typically stretches the society, stretches the individual to do things differently. That's why it's considered creative, but at times being creative can also be seen as some kind of crazy or a mutant. If you think about like the mutant turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the X-Men, that type of energy is mutative. But to bring something new from the individual for it to be exciting, it has to be mutative. And the location of this gate is in the throat and it is going down towards the G center or the identity center. So the essence of this gate or the energy you'll be feeling this week is all about individual contributions. Could also be maybe even seen as a rebel with the cause. That mentality of I'm being reckless, but there's a point to my recklessness. And at times that energy can take on or can be present when we're starting, new projects, right? So we're coming off of gate 23 last week. We distilled lots of ideas, lots of past projects we may have been working on, things that we wanted to do. We're making them simpler to be able to speak them into existence, to be able to transmit them to others in a more simpler fashion. And so now this week we're looking at how can we, as individuals, now that we've done all that distilling, take those thoughts and ideas and go out and be ourselves with them, right? Be authentic to ourselves, be unique, and embrace ourselves and our unique ways. And so it's encouraging us, since it's coming from the throat as well, to express our individual voice to manifest our reality. And it also helps us stimulate courage of those ideas that we've been distilling and giving us the ability to express them even when they may not be accepted, right? So we spent last week working our ideas and making them simple. And yes, that's an important part, but there are going to be some people who just never accept your ideas, and they're not necessarily here to do that. So this is going to encourage us to be ourselves, be individuals, be unique, even in the face of non-acceptance or rejection. What we want to reflect on is thinking about, what makes us us. What are our quirks? What are the things that people may talk about us about, but we love it. And one thing that comes to mind for me, particularly growing up, was and still to today, I love Dragon Ball Z. I watch it, maybe if not once a day, watch an episode, or it's on in my household because my wife loves it as well. But growing up, my friends, particularly my women friends or girls at the time, didn't really understand the love of the show, or probably anime in general, and they used to make fun of me and other guys but I even like Pokemon too, right? Nerd type stuff. Where and years later, I come and find a wife who loves exactly the same thing, right? So found someone who loves the quirks that I have, the interests that I have, and the traits that I have, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't being myself or being a individual and not being afraid to express what I enjoy, right? So meditate on your comfort level, being yourself, particularly in social situations. Those are typically the times where we're not ourselves. We're trying to either fit in, or if you have, if you're a people pleaser, you're just trying to do what makes people happy to get the yes or to make you feel well. So think about what truly makes you you, and try being yourself when you're out instead of trying to be somebody else. And consider how you can use your traits, the things that you bring to the table, to further your community and to have a positive impact. Now, I have a couple projects that have came to me that I'm contemplating working on this week, and they're similar, but they're different, right? So one of the projects would I would be more managing. I'll be managing people. I'll be building a team to help expand for the project, and it would be more of a technical role. And the other project is also technical, but I, per se, wouldn't have to be the technical person, and I wouldn't necessarily have to lead a team. It's really a more individual contributor role. And so I've been, or as we go into this week, one of the things I'm meditating on is which of these roles, if I take either of them for this project that I want to work on, or that's been offered to me, which one is more aligned with me and where I'm at right now, and with the gate of individuality with us right now, or the energy of individuality. I feel I could have a greater benefit if I'm able to be more of an individual on a project, versus leading it and still have just as much of an impact on the team, maybe even more, in that type of role. And I've done both in the past. Worked on projects where I've been, a top individual contributor, one of the most knowledgeable on the team, and I've also led multiple teams, 3 teams at that level. And while I enjoy both, I can do both, and I'm good at both of them. I particularly excel at the individual role, and I just think that for me, a lot of my design is about the individual. I'm a 6'2" profile as well, so I have the 2, which is the hermit. I like my alone time. That's also when I get my best ideas. That's when I can sit in silence. Like even doing this video, I go out and I'm taking walks on my own, because that's truly when my creativity can shine. So consider how you can use your unique traits, your unique influences in your community, at your job, and your family to positively impact those groups. So in the shadow, this is where we would tend to conform. We may have feelings of depression because we're not able to live in our personal joy, live in our personal story, or be who we're individually called to be. And so conforming to the group, feeling like you got to fit in, it may be depressing, right? And you see a lot of artists, people who are naturally, I'm going to call them freaky, because they're bringing something new, something mutative to the table, where it could be, if you've been brought up and conditioned to fit in and feel like you have to go along with the group, and you just fundamentally don't feel that way, it could be super difficult to just be in those different situations. And so our enlightenment from the shadow comes with us really just loving ourselves, and radical self-love is what's come to mind, and fully embracing our uniquenesses and how we're here to to express those unique attributes that we have. We're going back to last week to distill, what are our unique ideas, and getting them simple. Also, gate 23 was in the throat as well, so we're still in the process of getting those ideas out to the world, manifesting them through the throat center. And yeah, this week we're embracing those unique ideas that we've distilled down. In human design, as I mentioned, this is in the throat chakra, and so this gate influences how ideas and individually are expressed and manifested into this world. And it's also part of the individual intuitive circuit, which is all about personalizing insights and breakthroughs that can't be forced upon others. So they have to come in their time. And these are for us individually, not necessarily for others, these breakthroughs and things that we're having, right? So one of the breakthroughs I'm having around uh, this project, with which I'm calling it a project, I've created a a reframe around the different things that I do. Projects are is a word that doesn't trigger me too much, so I'm tending to call everything in my life project. I guess family would be a project too, right? So, but projects that are coming my way, I'm learning that I have to do what's best for me individually and not necessarily what may be more harmonious to the group, right? So again, a rebel with a cause, right? You know, there are situations where I'm changing my priorities, and I'm married, and I have a son who's 2. The son may not quite put up a fit about it, but you know, because he doesn't understand what's going on. But you know, well, if I'm changing, my wife may feel some type of way about things, right? If I'm taking my breakthroughs, and you know, being a rebel means usually you're going against something that's been going a certain way. And for me, it's been being more using my energy for me so that I could take the time to distill and figure out what's my unique talent. Well, I know what my unique talent is. I would say more of my unique, how to express my unique gift is exactly how I would say it. You know, doing these videos, expressing it through social media, figuring that out. And yes, I could work with her on that and I could give her my ideas, but this is for me. So these ideas, these insights, they can't be forced between others. That doesn't mean we can't share them. If asked, we can share them with others. And that goes into, because this is a projected gate, so we're waiting for the invite to share our perspectives and our unique insights and our skills. And so this coming from the throat and being a manifested gate and having to wait for the invitation, you know, it demands a certain sensitivity to timing as well, right? It ensures that what we're expressing is going to be accepted because it's not the wrong time. And you know, that's a big deal too, right? How and when you bring something up to somebody, you know, in a certain situation makes a big deal, right? Do you bring something, and this is just anyone, like when you're tired, you're less likely to I'm gonna go past this truck. He stopped. So when so we're talking about like being sensitive to the audience, and we are talking a little bit about this last week as well for Gate 23 on, you know, your words, your vision, your manifestation being accepted or received. Well, this week as well, we want to work on making sure we're invited to share that expression and that it's timely to make sure that it's well received. Because if not, you know, we're gonna dip back into the shadow. We can get depressed because people don't accept our ideas. People don't seem like to care about what we want. Not necessarily because they don't. They're just their energy that they have is for the collective, or their design may be more towards the collective. So as always, you take the energy, and if it serves you this week to use it to your advantage, you do it. If not, you can leave it, and it's all gonna be good. So I'm definitely leaning in to this energy this week. So I'll be doing a lot of contemplation on my individual contribution and working and doing projects on my own. That's another thing about my design. And I've known this. And if I look at like anything in my past where let's say I made a change or I did something that was really remarkable, it was mainly on my own. I would say two things. Was one, I won a Nintendo 64 in maybe fifth grade, and it was a contest at Blockbuster. And so, you take a little rip off and you put it in. So this is circa, so it's a Nintendo 64. So this is circa 90, probably 8, 96, somewhere in there. And you put it in and you write your name down, your address, and you send it off. Well, I'm like, all right, well, I can get one, but is there a rule against multiple? And I read the back, there was nothing in the rules that said I couldn't submit multiple. So I took all of them and then proceeded to have my granddad take me to all of the Blockbusters in the city. And I took all of them and sent them in, and I won a Nintendo 64. So in this contest. And then the other is I won a bunch of scholarship money, over $500,000. I got a Gates scholarship when I left high school as well. But those achievements, are all things I did individually on my own, like putting those systems together and figuring out how to do it. Yes, my granddad took me to those places, but I was the one who was able to kind of sit back as an individual in my own energy and say, let me put together a system for both of these projects that's going to lead me to success. So when this energy is activated, we are expressing our authentic selves, and we have a deep sense of freedom and joy in who we are. Free to be me is a phrase that comes to mind, and we're living in our truth and our energy, and not letting society, family, whoever it is, make us conform to a situation just because they think it's the way it is to be. And we're going to naturally influence and change others through our actions just by being ourselves. And I think that's one of my biggest skills. I don't know if I don't even want to call it a skills, but attribute, not sure. But just being myself and showing others that it's okay to be themselves was what I'm here to do. And so one thing I always found strange is growing up, kids are kids. I always say kids are mean, but kids are just being humans growing up in this experience. But I would move to new schools, and there was always kids who were, I'm gonna call it, picking on me, calling me names or whatever. And you know, I always wondered why. I never felt like that to other people. Whenever I met new people, I always just like, hey, how you doing? I want to know more about you. But that comes down to my gate 25, which is about innocence. So I just don't naturally see or have criticisms or judgments about people, that are whoever. Come to find out, not everyone, like that. So my gift, the word is gift. That's the one I'm going to use. My gift would be able to be myself, and then also show other individuals through that they can also just be themselves. So we may feel feelings of judgment, and also the victim mentality when we're not being ourselves, like the world is out to get us, feeling like that's not fair. When in reality, we make our own situations what they are. So you can make it heaven or earth. You can look at the good. You can look at the bad. But we get that way because we're not being ourselves, right? So if anything for you is in this situation is bad, quote unquote, it would be not being yourself. That's the part that gets us into the shadow, and we may struggle with the perception that we're putting out there. Maybe we don't want to be perceived as a rebel, but feel like this is our only choice, and that could cause us to retreat if we put ourselves out there and we are not accepted. And we also need to transmute and move away from following others' opinions and not living our own, and towards our truth of vocalizing our perspectives, because we all have unique perspectives. Some of us are here to express those perspectives, those with a closed throat chakra, and then like me with an open throat, I'm here to look at those different opinions, those different manifestations of thought, ideas, and figure out which ones are the best to amplify and which ones should be left to the wayside. right? So not one or the other. We need both. I wouldn't have perspectives to look at and understand and make a determination which one is best for me if other people were not expressing their opinions. This bird is definitely expressing his opinion. All right, so we also should look to strengthen our self love and our self acceptance of ourselves, of our unique characters, loving ourselves, saying our affirmations, and also giving love to others, right? Be accepting of others and their individuality, and we'll probably find that people are more loving and accepting of our individual characteristics and perspectives. And we can activate this energy with those affirmations and practicing self-acceptance, right? I know we tend to get down on ourselves and we have those voices in our head of self-criticism, and that definitely depletes our levels of self-joy. But if we can allow ourselves, the freedom to be ourselves and really do what's totally natural for us and what satisfies us, then we are truly in this energy. So a few other things that we can do to help is to explore our inner child and really reconnect to your dreams, to the things that brought you joy, to things that gave you a sense of accomplishment. As I mentioned, the two projects from my childhood that definitely helped me see that when I'm in my individual energy, that I can make great things happen. And we're going to also engage in communities that celebrate our uniqueness, particularly human design is one, because everyone has a unique chart and everyone's embraced for their chart. There's not a bad chart or a good chart. It's just your chart, and it's really helped me explore my individuality and really figure out my next direction in life, including doing these videos. So we talked about the change maker and how this gate drives us to be our individual selves, in a world that may see conformity, in a world that may not like the freaky, the new. This gate encourages us to honor our perspectives, our creativity, and look to transform social norms through our creativity, through us being ourselves, because that's the only way we change things, right? Is people stepping up and being themselves and not conforming. And make sure you're empowering yourself, inspiring yourself. And once you do that and you are being the individual or being yourself, you're gonna naturally foster that in others and help others express their unique perspectives, their unique ideas, and their unique values. So yeah, that is gate 8, Changemaker. If you have any questions or want to chat more, hit me below. Also, if you would like to sign up for a Soul Successful Human Design reading, you can check the link in the description below. And also, I am starting a new human design community for Soul Successful. And so if you are someone who going through a portion or a time period in their life where they're looking for their direction and looking for where they want to go next, whether it be in relationships, in your job, or your different projects, hit me up and let's have a chat. And as always, have a great day.